Yo, what's up? What's up? It's the Hungry Millennial back again with yet another proactive pragmatism. On today's proactive pragmatism, I'd like to talk to you guys about keeping yourself centered. So, in life, you will have people who want to drain your energy. You will have people, life just gets daunting. It may not be people, it might be a task. But when conducting a task and working on things, you want to be clear to one, give yourself alone time, two, form your own opinions, and three, give yourself time to exercise and or relax. So let's get into it. So when I reference alone time, right? Alone time is having time away from people. Often we can get caught up in the social rigors of wanting to be social. As people, we are social animals. But the problem that we concur while being overly social is we can oftentimes lose ourselves. And when I say lose ourselves, like often I'll get brain fog because everybody has an opinion about something, even if they're not involved in the process of something. So that being said, it's like, oh, okay, you go and you ask for an opinion on something, and then that opinion deters into a sidebar of conversation that has nothing to do with the topic, even though you've got something to get done. I find this a lot in workplaces. So often, most people spend 60, maybe even 40% of their time just working, and then the other, 60 socializing. Which, in the moment, it seems all fine and dandy, because these are your coworkers and you want to bond with them and build connections. But in the long term, this can be very critical for your career, because instead of building the skills that you need to complete the task, which is the job, oftentimes people just make social connections, but the job doesn't get done. And when the job doesn't get done, or the task that you even set out for yourself doesn't get done, then you end up with poor performance ratings and poor evals. Even though it seems like you've been putting in the work doesn't actually reflect that you've actually done anything, because you failed to disconnect from the people around you so you can detach and make good critical thinking decisions. Oftentimes we have to realize that we do get paid to do a job, but in order to do that job, it takes spending some time in solitude and making hard decisions. That hard decision could be, hey, I'm going to do my workouts. For me, I like to work out solo. It's just one of those things where if I work out solo, I waste a lot less time socializing. Here it comes full circle. For me, it works out. For some people, they need that extra person to motivate them. However, you have to think about what happens when you don't have that external motivation, that person to motivate you. Do you have it intrinsically? I feel that I develop my intrinsic motivational skills from myself in solitude, because often when I get back to the civilian world and I'm not on active duty, I don't have anybody to work out with, which is totally fine by me. But a lot of people need that social connection. So the next way to keep yourself centered is form your own opinions. So gather feedback from others when it's necessary, but form your own opinions. Often, I don't know if you've heard this, but too often, there are multiple sides to a story. So get somebody's story, right? And then get another story, and then get more data. So that way you can make effective decisions in your life. So for instance, when I'm building a workout plan, I typically listen to people who are getting results in their own life. There's no greater way to see something and see results than looking at somebody else's what results they had. Oftentimes, we get on Facebook, we get on Instagram, we get on social media, we see these people with muscles. Typically, it's the people with muscles that lure you in because you want the same results. Often they're selling false packages of false results that you're going to get in a 10-day or 20-day workout session, which is just unreal. It takes hardcore dedication to get those types of gains. And a lot of them are on, different supplements. I can only speculate, steroids and such. And I've heard of all the TRT and just a bunch of different things. Not judging, everybody has their own path, but you have to be careful and form your own opinions based off of realistic data. So back again, when I say I'm building a workout plan, I'm like, what athlete do I want to build my body like? So for instance, when I was building my most recent workout plan, I looked up some stuff by Shannon Sharp. He's ripped. He was in the NFL. He has functional muscle. I look for functional muscle. For you, it may be, power gains. You may want to gain a lot of power and a lot of muscle mass, right? So you might want to look at what power lifters do. But you need to form your own opinions about the things that you do in your life as well as about people. So what I find often in the military, one person will say this person's like this, and I've fallen into the gap of sometimes taking it at that person's word. But everybody interacts with other people differently. So you want to get to know the individual so you can build your own mental model of what this person is really like and what results they bring to the table. And that way you can do a realistic assessment of how it pieces together and who this individual is, because they might be a different individual to you than they are to somebody else. So real quick, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And we'll get in our last topic of keeping yourself centered through exercise. It's the Hungry Millennial back again. So let's talk about our last topic under keeping yourself centered, exercise. So what I found that works for me is I try not to overload my workout sessions. The reason why I try not to overload my workout sessions is because I need to work out the next day. So oftentimes you see people, throwing a lot of weight. It's very consistent with kind of a high school mental model. When I played football, everybody wanted to lift the heaviest weights. But science and noticing people around you, doing your own qualitative data research, heavy weights don't really forebode well for people going into their 30s and 40s. So for me, I try to focus more on functional fitness. So you don't have to lift the heaviest weights in the gym. It's about being consistent. It's about, hey, I missed, even if you miss a day or two, getting right back on that wagon to get back into the gym so you can get the results that you want. Oftentimes what people do is they take a bunch of time out of the gym and then they go back and they want to go heavy, they want to go hard. But the problem is going heavy and going hard, you're going to exhaust your body on the first day. You're going to be really sore the first 3 days. So find balance. Get in there and just do one small thing. I have days of workouts where I literally just do a cardio session and some abs, or I will do jump rope, or I will do, on that day, I'm just doing sprints because they might gas me out, but I also stretch before and after. One big way that I've been able to save mental space is by stretching. When I stretch before, I do dynamic stretching. When I stretch after, it's static stretching. Dynamic stretching is moving the muscles in ways that warm up the muscles. So high knees, different hip flexor, hip mobility exercises that are movement based. And then static at the end, it's that full stretch. Reaching down, stretching out your arms behind your back, touching your toes, single leg over, things of that nature. But through exercise, I'm able to center myself and bring myself back in. For me, I like to work out typically in the mornings. If I get a good workout in the morning, I felt like I've accomplished something. And when it comes down to exercise and centering yourself, it's the small wins that are going to equal the major victories later in your life. Here is 3 years in, and I feel better than I felt in a really long time, but it's going to take time. But the best way to mitigate the thought process about how much time is going to take is to get out and do. So I wake up in the morning when hardly anybody's up, 2-3 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes you don't have to be like me. That's another thing. It's like your exercise routine, you can gear that towards your life. It doesn't have to be similar to anybody else's life. That's a key aspect to exercise, because it's about you. It's your own personal journey. It's nobody else's. So I hope these tips are going to help you keep yourself centered. Yo, this is Hungry Millennial. I appreciate you guys. Stay hungry. Stay out there. Keep tuning into the podcast. If you have any questions you can that you want me to answer or anything like that, you can reach me at hungrymillennial4@gmail.com. Thank you guys. Keep yourself centered. Stay focused on your goals and keep pushing. Hungry Millennial out. Thank you.